Ça va,
Ça va?
Ça va, oui.
À part ça, alors, ma sœur, ça va?
Wow. Stylish Senegalese ladies.
Yeah.
But I like the sleeves, with the
Yeah.
flares.
Yeah, because it's the latest fashion.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the latest fashion. We call it Justo Core.
Justo cool.
Yes.
Cool.
And a lapper, you know.
The wrap around, okay.
wrap
Yeah,
around.
perfect.
And he's gonna embroider here.
Yeah, lovely, beautiful. To get my outfit tailored, it's costing me 20,000 sefa, which is about $25. That's pretty good value. And this guy is quick. My grandfather's from Sierra Leone, but I have to say, growing up in London, I've never worn a traditional outfit quite like this one. So I really have to wear the head wrap?
Let me give you a Senegalese name.
Okay.
Now, your name is Aida now.
Aida.
Aida, look at your head tie. It's so nice. I like it.
Merci. Merci. You can't come to Dakar without hearing Mbalak in a club. So we've come down to check out the king of Mbalak, Thione Seck, who's playing now. It's about 1:15. I think he's just about to go on stage. Mbalak is an intense mix of Cuban beats and traditional Sabar drumming. And in clubs, the dancing is as much, if not more important than the music. It's mainly the men who like to show off their signature moves. Thione Seck, the main attraction, has arrived, and he's even agreed to answer a few questions before he goes on stage. I ask him why music is so important here in Senegal.
Tu sais, quand il y a trop de problèmes,
you know, when there's so many problems, you need to go and enjoy music to escape the drudgery of everyday life.
oublier les soucis quotidiens de la vie. Moi, je l'ai dans le sang. Même à l'école.
I've got music in my blood. Even when I was at primary school, I wrote little songs.
Thione Seck comes from a line of griots. They are traditional poets or storytellers and central to Senegalese culture.
Le rôle du griot, c'est celui qui raconte les histoires.
The role of the griot is one who tells stories, one who says the good news and also the bad news when people aren't happy. So griots have a very important role here in Senegal.
Donc le griot a un point très important ici au Sénégal.
It's 4 a.m, but the crowd shows no sign of tiring. The dancing will continue well until sunup. I'm taking a break from the city centre and catching the ferry across to Gorée Island. It's just a 20-minute journey and costs around $5 return for foreigners. Ile de Gorée is said to be a haven of tranquility and a hub for artists, but it bears witness to a much more sinister past. Gorée Island was a busy goods trading centre during the 18th and 19th centuries, and that included the trafficking of humans, slaves. I'm visiting Gorée Island's most popular attraction, the Maison des Esclaves, or House of Slaves. It's claimed by the curators that this house was used as a kind of holding pen for 150 to 200 slaves, before they were sold off and shipped away to the Americas.
In 1776. The slave trade lasted 300 years, from 1536 until 1848.
15 à 20 millions de Noirs.
During which 15 or 20 million of black people coming from all over the western coast.
Pour les Américains.
Who left the western coast to America.
Et bien des fois dans cette maison, toute une famille, le père, la mère et l'enfant, séparés de cellules.
And most of the time in this small house, one can find a big family. Mother, father, and the children living separately, but for going to Americas, it was depending on the buyer. For example, father to Louisiana, United States.
La mère au Brésil ou Cuba.
Mother for Brazil or Cuba.
L'enfant à Haïti ou les Antilles.
And the children for Haiti or West Indies.
Oui, la séparation était totale.
The separation was total.
Ils partaient d'ici sous des numéros matricules, rarement sous leurs noms africains.
And also from the door leading to the bottom, it is the door of the voyage without return. Just because when a slave step out from the door, for the slave it seems bye-bye.
Pretty hardcore.
It's why we are here, and it's a very, very big emotional moment. It's hard to understand how our grandfather and grandmother come in the island of Caribbean.
It's nothing new, like, you know, through movies and books. It's not something that I don't know. But when you see these little rooms and they were packed in 25 on this small, yeah, it's like sickening. It makes me sick in the stomach.
Looking at the door, you know, makes me feel that maybe some of my ancestors came from here, and you know they were brought, you know, they ended up on a big boat, not knowing where they were going, and it just, you know, it makes me feel like, you know, it's really sad, really.
But it's history, it's a past, and now we go.
I'm shocked to learn about the history of Gorée Island. While the harbour here was a popular anchorage site for European slave ships, many historians argue that the House of Slaves was little more than a house where slaves would have lived with their owners. But if it's thousands or even one slave who was sold here, that story is worth remembering. Word on the street is that the godfather of Senegalese music, Youssou N'Dour, is playing a gig here on Gorée tonight. I'm going to see if I can crash it. Here he is, the big man himself, and he's about to go on stage. I've just got time for a couple of questions. So why have you chosen Gorée to play this concert tonight?
I think it's great because, you know, Gorée is a beautiful island and a lot of memory about Africa. And here, people were trying to, you know, during the slavery things, you know, to take off the dignity of people. I think to symbolize this day, doing this concert here is very important. It's a big symbol for me, symbol.
And as you say, this island has a link with slavery. Do you think that music can be used to heal wounds from the past?
Yeah, I think really, you know, when the slave left, you know, they left with also music. When we listen to reggae music or Cuban music, we feel part of. And we think, you know, a lot of things left here and from this island. And this is great moment. Anytime I came to Gorée, you know, it's kind of big emotion.
out a living is a desperate struggle for many Senegalese. And with 50% unemployment, it's hardly surprising that many people are prepared to take extreme measures in search of a better life. I've met up with Mustafa Kamara in his village Anyarak at the edge of Dakar. In 2006, he attempted the perilous illegal journey to Spain in a pirogue, a local fishing boat. He made it as far as Morocco. So Mustafa, can you tell us the story of your journey?
The night.
The night time.
3, 4 o'clock night.
Oh, okay.
After I take the pirogue, the boat is go to Spain.
It's moving to Spain.
It's moving. Boy.
How did you feel? How did you feel?
Beautiful. Bon. The people speak me. I go to Spain. I married in Espanol. Right.
They were dreaming about Spain.
Everybody dreams, yes.
How many people were in the boat with you?
112 in the boat.
Lots of people.
Yes, lots of people in the boat.
How did it end on the boat? What happened?
6 days, 7 days. Big boat.
A big boat, yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
No, yeah. Policeman. Policeman. Many people is afraid. I stand up. I said in the policeman. Every people in the boat is Senegalese. What do you want? I go to Spain. No. No. Policeman come, take the boat.
It took you to the
station police.
To the police station.
Yes.
Why do you want to go?
I'm sorry, but Senegal is difficult. Me, I'm 29 years, 1 wife, 2 children. I have no job. What do you want? What do you want? I haven't choice. I haven't choice.
Mustafa is just one of many willing to take terrible risks to leave for a better life. In 2006, over 30,000 Africans attempted the journey to Europe. Of those, about 1 in 5, that's 6,000 people, either died or went missing. Finally leaving Dakar and heading inland to the holy city of Touba. Just got to find a way to get there. Touba, monsieur? Touba, 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 là-bas. Touba? Oui. Non, 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 attendez, attendez. This is called a sept place, which means 7-seater. Basically, if you arrive first, you get the luxury in the front. If you're next to the middle, if you're last, you're here, over the wheel, in the back. Get to know each other pretty well. It can take up to 4 hours to drive the 200 kilometers to the sacred city of Touba, depending on the traffic. I'm stopping on the outskirts of the city. I've arranged to meet a guide, Fadra, who's also a local English teacher.
This is our guest from London, so please meet her.
Good to see you. Hello. Hello. You can smile. I'm not going to be.
Okay, sit down, please. Maybe if you can have some questions to ask her.
What do you like best in Senegal?
Wow, that's difficult. There's so much. I have to say the music, the Mbalax music. I like that. And actually, no, even more than the music, I like the dance. And I can't do that crazy dance, yeah? That, for me, that's the business. I love that. I love that. I can't do it. Touba is the home to Muridism, an African branch of Sufi Islam with over 2 million followers. Even the current president of Senegal is a Murid. Muridism was founded by Sheikh Amadou Bamba in 1887, who's considered a renewer of the Muslim faith by his followers. There's one surviving photo of Bamba, with his face covered. You can see it reproduced all over town.
It's beautiful, hey? It's
yeah, very beautiful.
The mosque at the centre of Touba is a work in progress. Construction began in 1936.
Every year they renovate. Yeah, they make it more beautiful. And now this is a very large place where people stay to say their prayers.
It's so ornate. Some Islamic critics of the Murids say that as a branch of Islam, it is too focused on Amadou Bamba, distracting followers from the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad.
Yes, okay.
We had to contextualize Islam here into our own context because places are different. Yeah, but there is no difference basically between the way we say our prayers, because you see this mosque, as big as it is completely dedicated for saying the prayers.
There aren't any hotels in Touba, so I'm staying the night at the house of a local marabout or spiritual leader.
Welcome.
Serigne Fallou Fall is the grandson of Ibrahima Fall, who was Amadou Bamba's right-hand man. His followers are called Baye Fall. They don't pray, but chant. Baye Fall wear their hair in dreadlocks, with ragged clothing to signify that their main motivation is work, not material possessions. I think it would take years to understand Muridism. It's a very African branch of Islam, but I can't hang around. I've got to catch one of these. It's my new mode of transport. It's called an Njaga Jai. From Touba, I'm heading east on a 2-day journey deep into the interior, stopping overnight at Sementi in the Nyokolo-Koba National Park. The first leg of my journey is a hot and dusty 10 hours drive and costs about $12 in an Njaga Jai. Or you can, of course, pay with a chicken. It pays to get on well with your fellow passengers. After all, everyone's going to be spending lots of time together. Check this out, it's an African toothbrush. You just, it's basically a bit of a bush or a tree, I'm not sure which one, and you scrub it up and down on your gums. Yeah. After 2 hours driving, the road becomes so bad, it's better to drive on the soft verge. We've pulled up for a rest. What a great place to watch the world go by. J'aime, ça c'est très belle. Very pretty girl. Jewelry.
No, merci.
Merci beaucoup.
D'aller là,
Wow, it's good to have some coffee. There's this thing called Teranga in Senegal, which basically means hospitality, and wherever you go, people just come up to you and bring you food or drinks. They'll always make room for you, and I've just been given this black coffee, and it's wonderful. It's a really long drive. And my journey isn't over yet. With the new day, I've got a further 5 hours drive ahead of me to get to meet one of Senegal's most remote tribes, the Bassari. It's been quite difficult contacting the Bassari because they don't have any electricity or a phone, so we're using this radio to let them know that we're coming. Apparently they only had 3 or 4 tourists in the whole year last year.
Okay, merci.
Merci. Merci beaucoup. I think they know we're coming now.
Okay.
From here on, my journey continues by 4-wheel drive. From Sementi, heading on through Niokolo-Koba, Senegal's largest national park, I'm travelling as far as the Bassari village of Ouadji. The national park is home to numerous wild animals, and up until the 1970s, the Bassari people would hunt them. But the Bassari have now been forced into agriculture. Ça va? In Ouadji, I'm met by Blaise, who's the son of the previous village chief. Yeah, good thanks, good thanks. Yes. When you arrive in a place like Ouadji, the first thing you've got to do is make the rounds and meet everyone. We're stopping at Blaise's uncle and aunt's house. They're preparing for a dance, and we're just taking a look at some of the things that they're going to be wearing later on. Oh, wow.
Ça, c'est quelque chose qu'on porte ici. Comme ça.
Ah, cool.
Ouais.
C'est pour les hommes, non?
Non, c'est pour les femmes. Comme ça. Ouais. Ah. Voilà, OK. Ouais. C'est bien ça.
A big traditional ceremony is about to take place here in the village. We're off to meet the village chief to see if I can come.
Bien. Vous êtes de retour? Ouais, on est de retour.
I asked the chief what the ceremony is for. He says that the reason why people are dancing now is to celebrate the harvest, to share in the wealth of everything that's been harvested at this time, and to thank the chief of the village. The first dance is for young people, and taking part is an important first step towards accepting the responsibilities of their age group. Each age group wears a different headdress and dances in a style unique to their group. For the young girls, wearing bright cotton bundles on their heads, today's dance is the very first dance that they learn. They must master a kind of body pop, best appreciated from behind. The older boys do a dance that harks back to the days when the men would hunt. But that doesn't stop their mothers from interfering.
to embellish their costumes, they put memories and things from their personal life onto their costumes. So some of them have got some photographs, they've got mirrors, there's some fans, all kinds of things. It's brilliant.
The village chief has joined the festivities, and I'm presenting him with a thank you gift of rice.
He wants to know if he can have this for himself or if it's to share between the 3 villages. Good question.
Io a praia kakniaka. N'est-ce pas?
Merci, merci. Wow.
Ah, venez, va.
3 villages, 1 bag of rice. Not ideal. Alors c'est la même.
Un peu plus, moins, ils partagent un peu moins.
So we're saying that there's 3 villages, one is a bit bigger, so they're going to get a bit more of the rice. Yeah? Yeah, pas de problem. It's going to be fine. Okay. Everyone's happy.
Happy.
The main event of the day is about to start. It's a masked dance that's done to celebrate the harvest, also for weddings or even to welcome visiting foreigners like me. The dance begins inside the chief's compound. I ask the man who is known as the Chief of Customs what they're singing about.
So he says that everyone can join into this song, and everyone, men and women, they're all singing their own story, their own life story maybe, so they're all contributing at the same time to the song. Et pourquoi les hommes portent les masques? Pourquoi?
C'est quelque chose de sacré.
Something sacred, something sacred. Such an incredible journey across Senegal, from the bustling clubs and bars of Dakar, and then to this, the Sahari country. I never thought I'd experience something like this in my life. It's a real feast for the senses, and it feels like a privilege to be here.
From Abaji, I'm retracing my steps all the way back to the capital.
Woo! Here we go.
2 days later, after around 18 hours driving, I finally make it back to Dakar, from where I fly on to my next destination, the volcanic archipelago of Cape Verde. I land on the island of Santiago in the capital, Praia.
From Dakar, the first thing you notice is how laid back it is here. They call it the Caribbean of Africa, but the vibe is kind of hard to pinpoint. It's part Portuguese, part African. It's a real melting pot. And at the 2005 census, up to 70% of the population were recorded to be mixed race.
"20 minutes up the coast from the capital Praia is Ribeira Grande, now called Cidade Velha or Old Town. The Cape Verde Islands were the first European colony in all of Africa, and settlement began here in 1462, centred around this fertile valley, where visiting ships would pull up and make repairs.
Ribeira Grande is so laid back, it's hard to get a feeling for actually what went on here and the enormity of its role in the slave trade. And this pillory, the 16th century pillory in the centre of town, really testifies to what went on. It's where slaves would be shackled and possibly even hung in front of large crowds of people.
For buyers, the Cape Verde slaves were an attractive prospect. They had already been wrenched out of Africa. Only the fit had survived to make it so far. And once they arrived here, the traders had them baptized, further increasing the slaves' market value. They say that half the history of these islands is buried underwater.
Hi, Emmanuel. Whoa, good timing.
I'm going out with local diver Emmanuel Oliveira to take a look. It's my first ever wreck dive, and I have to say I'm a bit spooked about what I'll find. We've come across some ship's cannons at a depth of around 10 meters. Further out, we discover an incredible anchor graveyard. As many as 30 slave ships regularly anchored here in the 1600s, working the booming slave trade. It wasn't until the 1800s that the curve-shaped anchor was even invented. Before that, ships' anchors had a straighter arrowhead shape, like this one. It's like diving back into history. Emmanuel has found this immaculately preserved pot, over 200 years old, which he'll be taking to the local museum. Visiting the anchors is like visiting a graveyard to the stolen generations of Africans who are bought and sold in these islands. From Santiago alone, as many as 2,000 to 3,000 a year. I'm excited to be catching Balila, who's performing here in Cidade Vela. She's a 78-year-old blind Batuco performer. Batuco is one of the oldest music styles in Cape Verde. From Santiago, I now fly onto the island of São Vicente. Just in time to catch the annual carnival celebrations in Mindelo.
Just like the celebrations that take place in Italy, Brazil, and in countries all around the world, Carnival marks the final blowout before the 40 days of Lent that lead to Easter. I've got all my gear, but I didn't even know what time it starts or where I'm going to go tonight.
Hola, hi, senora. Luckily for me, local hairdresser and carnival queen Sao is offering to take me under her wing. ¿Cuánto tiempo? Can we see your hair?
Este es mi peinado. Si quieres te puedes peinar también igual.
Can you do mine like this?
También.
Maybe, if we've got time. Hola. Oh, wow. This is amazing. It's a hive of activity. They're dressing me up, and it seems like I'm going to be dancing with their group tonight. It's going to be too small. It's going to be too small. No, it's too small. Breathe in. Get me. Oh, no. Oh, there you go. Apparently, my dancing shoes aren't glamorous enough for this party. Just add glue and red sequins. Oh, thank you. Wow. Carnival happens only once a year, but it's also about belonging to a club or school, and that's all year round. For some of the locals, Carnival is a time to get in touch with the inner savage. These are the Mandingas. They are here to cause trouble, a bit like African trick-or-treat. These guys are called the Flores de Mindelo, Flowers of Mindelo. Why do you like dancing samba?
It's tradition.
It's tradition?
Yeah.
How does it make you feel when you dance like this?
It's okay, it's amazing. It's fantastic.
It's very exciting because for me it's the first carnival.
When we saw the dates and it was carnival, we said, woo, yeah, good luck.
We didn't know even that here is a carnival, so we like very much.
It's been going on more or less for a week, you know.
But we decided to wait for the carnival before leaving. Yeah, and we don't regret our decision.
The carnival's officially over now, but to be honest, it feels like this party's going to run well into the night. They say you can't leave Cape Verde without climbing a volcano. Leaving São Vicente, I'm taking a connecting flight via the capital Praia to my final destination, Fogo Island, home to Cape Verde's highest volcano, the Pico de Fogo. That's the Pico de Fogo. It looks pretty steep, and I'm going to be climbing up it. It last erupted in 1995. It's not very long ago. I land in São Felipe, the pretty and historic main town on Fogo. Boa tarde. I'm meeting local guide Jose Antonio, who's going to introduce me to the island's oldest resident, its volcano, which is also the highest point on all of the islands. Good to meet you, Jose.
Okay, nice to meet you. Jose Antonio.
Yeah, good to meet you.
You want to climb in the mountain?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
We're on our way to the town of Portela, some 1,700 meters above sea level. It must be a small community, as Jose seems to know just about everyone that we pass. There's barely any flat land on Fogo. The island is peppered with volcanic peaks. But nothing compares to the first sight of the island's dramatic centerpiece, the Pico de Fogo, nearly 3,000 meters high. Wow, that is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
I want to have a look. This place is awesome. It looks like a film set. It looks
Okay.
It's actually unreal.
Okay, smell.
That is a volcano.
Yeah.
That is a volcano.
Look, all these are lava flow-ups on the 95.
Jose has taken me off-piste to visit the lava fields from the 1995 eruption. The eruption lasted almost 2 months and transformed the face of the local landscape. Several houses were destroyed, but incredibly, not one of the 1,600 locals died. They all got out in the nick of time. The villagers here have refused several attempts by the government to entice them down from the volcano's edge. By working the rich volcanic soil, they've become some of the wealthiest farmers on the islands. And the locals are entrepreneurial too. These kids are selling volcanic rock souvenirs. What's your name?
Baltimore.
Titina. And how old are you?
7.
7 years old?
Yeah, 7 years old.
These children with blonde hair and blue eyes are thought to descend from one of the colourful characters who lived on the island, who was thought to be the son of the Duke of Montronde. The Duke exiled himself onto the islands in the 19th century. He's said to have had numerous wives and mistresses, and his descendants are proud of their French heritage. And how much is this?
Ik rekent 1,000 schools.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Obrigada.
That's it.
It's 6 o'clock in the morning and time to hit the trail.
We're off. We're off.
With a 4 to 5 hour climb up 1,200 metres to the top of the volcano, it's best to leave plenty of time. We've hooked up with Jose's friend Robert and some local commuters.
Chiquinha está podre, Tá, okay.
We're being overtaken already, Jose. Pretty soon we leave the main path and head up the trail. From now on, it's a steep 30 to 40 degree incline all the way to the peak of the volcano. You have a song for when you walk up the volcano?
Oh, lele, oh, lela, oh, lele, 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 la. Oh, lele, oh, lele, lele, la. Oh, lele, 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 la. So beautiful county cooperative.
Halfway, okay.
I wouldn't recommend attempting this hike without a guide. There's no clear route and the paths are so steep you can't afford to slip up. Good work, guys.
Yeah.
We made it.
Look, finally, yeah?
Needless to say, the view from the top at 2,829 metres high is breathtaking. We're almost 3 kilometres up and only 5 from the sea, making this one of the steepest volcanoes in the world. The law of nature is that over the years, these slopes will get steeper and steeper, till eventually one day, the whole thing will come crashing down into the ocean. It'll probably take thousands of years. I hope so.
Cheers, huh? Oh.
Cheers. To the volcano.
Yes, thank you.
You guys for getting me up here. It's been an incredible journey to reach the top of the Pico de Fogo. It's all a bit of a haze now. I'm about 3 kilometers up. And somewhere across the ocean over there is Africa and the coast of Senegal. It's hard to believe. They seem like worlds apart, these two places. The only thing I've got to do now is find a way to get back down.
Stay tuned for a special Globe Trekker Extra.
Funding for this program is provided by Subaru.
At Subaru, we're building vehicles like the rugged Outback, with symmetrical all-wheel drive and plenty of cargo room to take that love of adventure anywhere your heart desires. Subaru, a proud sponsor of Globe Trekker.
You can find out more about this series on our website. Programs from the Globe Trekker series are available on DVD and now on demand from globetrekkerchannel.tv. Music from the series is available on CD. You can also order the new Globe Trekker Annual, featuring information on festivals, events, and outdoor activities. To order Globe Trekker products, call 888-565-0361 or visit the website www.globetrekkertv.com.
With the help of local tribesmen, Dr. Livingston finally reached the Victoria Falls by canoe. But it isn't really safe to go close to the edge of the falls in a canoe, as fast-flowing currents could drag you over the precipice. So the best way to get there is by motorboat to Livingston Island, on the edge of the falls.
On November 16, 1855, David Livingstone arrived on this island by canoe and was about to lay his eyes for the first time on one of the wonders of the world. After all that he'd been through, all the trauma, this was the sight he was going to see. Oh my goodness! Look at this! Like a magical pot of gold. No wonder his first words were religious revelry. This is a truly inspired spot. Just huge banks of stone, water pouring down.
Over 1.5 kilometers wide and around 100 meters high. In the rainy season, the spectacular Victoria Falls, which separate Zambia from its neighbor Zimbabwe, form the largest sheet of falling water in the world.
Tribes called the falls Mosi Otunya, which means the smoke that thunders. Livingstone renamed it Victoria Falls after his queen. That's Zimbabwe. This is Zambia. And in the rainy season, this would be covered with water, torrents of water. I never get this close. Maybe I shouldn't be this close right now, come to think of it. Because it's dry season and the water is relatively low, I'm able to go to a place called Devil's Pool, alarming name. It's right on the edge of the precipice, right going over the falls?
Yes,
yeah.
right on the edge of the
Even though there's a powerful flow of water, it's possible to reach this naturally formed rock pool right at the heart of the precipice.
Okay, now I'll demonstrate for you, and then you follow me behind after the jump, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Get back from the ledge! I can't even look at you sitting there. Hang on! Oh, jeez. Oh, my God.
Ready now to jump? You come with this pool in 3.5 meters jump. So you have to jump right from here, where I'm pointing. So you come over now.
My brother can have my record collection. My sister can have my car. Bye, Mom.
You ready?
Wait for me!
These Afghans, from the day they were born, have known only chaos and despotism, warlords and invading armies. Now, at last, democracy may be within reach. It will not be easy.
What we are doing today is to give it the carburetor so that the wheels can run like hell. That's the Afghan nation.
Coming up next.
Next time on Nature, discover predator secrets and how prey avoid the fall. Go inside and the genius of animal engineering is revealed.